Hi guys, welcome to this session on Google Sheets. In this module I want to have a look at the sum function, the SUMIF function and the SUMIFS function. I'm also going to look at how to do named ranges and data validation lists. So first of all, the basic sum, how to add a list. So I've got a list of figures here. So you get to the bottom and then on the toolbar at the top you can see on the right hand side you've got a list of functions. And the one I want is the sum function, and then it's waiting for you to select the list. So I'm going to select this list every month, and then I'm going to press enter, and then that adds that up, which is easy enough. Now to create a running total, what we have to do is basically lock the first cell reference, in this case C2, and then pull it down to let it add up C2 and C3, C2, 3 and 4 and so on and so on. So to do that one, I still need the sum function. So I'll get the sum function again. This time I'll click on C2 and I need to $C2, lock it with the F4 function key. That does that, or you can type those two and then type C2 again. So I've got C2, C2. Press enter. It just says £50, which is correct, but watch what happens now. When I pull that down, it's going to add those two up because this one now says C2 locked to C3. And if I pull it down one more, to C4, so you go all the way down and it just gives you the running total, which at the end it will be the same as the total. So this would be not filled in as you're going down, this would just be, you'd have the formula there, but this data maybe is not there. So if I take some of this data out, so your running totals there, and you would just pull that down. It's totally up to you if you want to do that. Now the SUMIF function is a very useful function because you can summarize data, or costs in this case, by categories. So these are the categories I've got, and I've put those categories across the top there. So I've got a little table, and in here I'm going to use the SUMIF function. Equals SUMIF, open the bracket. What's the range it's asking me? So I'm highlighting this is this is the range, sum the range, comma, and if it, what's the criteria? The criteria is if I find gas, this first one is in this cell, I can just click on that cell, comma, if I find gas, I want to add up these figures. So that is the formula. So press enter on that, and it comes up with an answer. Now the problem with this is if I pull that across, if I get the little cross and pull it over, I get an error message because on this one it's gone to column H and I. So you can't actually see column H is this and then I is blank. So I need to do something. Now I could use dollar signs on this first one. I could dollar sign this and that would work. But I don't want to do that. I want to use named ranges. So I'm going to name this area item. So this is the name area. So I'll just click into there and type item. Press enter. And then this is going to be named as cost. So go in there, cost, press enter. So now I can change this formula to say, instead of these cell references, so it's going to look down item, and then still leaving I1 as the bit that can change, and then that's going to be cost. I get the same answer, but now when I go to pull this across, it will cascade over for me because it's still looking at item and cost. The only thing that's changing is J1 to K1 to L1, etc., all the way across. So that's how the SUMIF function works. Now SUMIFs, so that's just one category. This is going to allow multiple categories. So before I do this, I want a list in here of courses, these courses. And I want a list in here of the locations. There are obviously duplicates there, but there are only a certain number of locations. So to do that, that's data validation. So I'll go to the data tab and data validation. So the first one is a list of items, which I'm going to type. It says they're separate by commas. So I'll go Excel, comma, Access, comma, and Word. There's only 3. Save. and see if I've got a drop down list. Yes, I do. And then I do the same for location, across to data, data validation, select from a list of items that I'm going to type. So this has got Leeds, Newcastle, Glasgow, and is that it? Manchester. So I could have named this list and then got it to just look at the named lists, but that'll do for now. Save, and then I've got a drop down list there. That's great. So the SUMIFS function is going to be equal SUMIFS, open the bracket. So this is looking at the course. So I'm going to sum in the range is the money, comma, and then it's wanting to know what the criteria is. So some criteria range, the first one is going to be courses. So if the course, comma, is equal to what goes in this cell, which is T2, comma, and so we want a criteria range again, this list, comma, is equal to what goes in location U2. That is the SUMIF function that I want there. Close the bracket, press enter, and I get 0. But if I select Excel and Leads, I get 100,000. So if I select Access in Leads, Access in Leads is only 1, so that's the figure there. So if I select Word in Leads, Word Leads 45, Word Leads 54, and that's added them both up. So that's what the SUMIFS function does. So that's just a quick look at sum functions, the basic sum function, the SUMIF function, and the SUMIFS. And we've also looked at how to name a range by just highlighting it and then typing it in the name box. And then we've looked at how we can use data validation to create a drop-down list. So hopefully that was of use for you. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.